Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, don't you worry. I'm back, and now that Black Ops 4 is pretty much over, well, I thought, let's talk about this game. For once and for all. I know not the kind of content I do normally. I guess most of you watch me because of the trophy guides and stuff like that. And that's fine, but here's something different, something subjective, something more if you want. Call of Duty Zombies, a bonus game mode that came from nothing. Once popular and well received, nowadays not so much. Of course, there's good and bad, and like always, the most toxic are the loudest. For a lot, this game mode didn't prevail. For some, the last map, Tag der Toten, was the perfect ending. For me, it was, well, where should I even begin? Let's take a step back. Coming from World War II zombies as a content creator, and first and foremost, a player like you, I was looking forward to Black Ops 4. I was excited for the next big zombies game. But you know what? Let's take even more steps back. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 from 2016. No wait, 2015. This was my first time I played zombies. I bought the game, I played the campaign, and then I tried this zombies mode. I got a ray gun from a glowing box and I had no idea what I was supposed to do, but I was hooked. Well, a few months later I had some friends that played Der Eisendrache with me. And we tried to do this Easter egg, but of course we all were trash. We died, over and over again. 5 months later we got it. It was exciting, rewarding and the best feeling ever. Of course we completed the other maps and even Zombies Chronicles. We played the same maps over and over again and it never got boring. We had fun, this game mode, this wholesome community, it was perfect. I never had the chance to play Infinite Warfare Zombies, but I did buy World War II Zombies and, well, that was a great game. Those who know me know that I covered this game a lot. I enjoyed every last challenge. Well, 2018 came around and also Black Ops 4, and with that, the beginning of the end. Kinda. BO4 brought so much content, I was glad to see the hype again and the excitement, and of course I was happy to see the Eva story again. But something had changed. According to the most part of the community, or the loudest, BO4 was different from previous zombie games. Too different, in a bad way. Some players might say, don't fix what isn't broken, others might say, innovation is the key. The truth lies somewhere in between, I guess. You know, if you change something, never change too much at once. Zombies was always the survival mode, but in BO4, every map became this complex, big maze with a complex quest. In my opinion, the term Easter egg doesn't fit anymore. They are quests. And by completing them, the game also ends. In older games, you could keep playing after you did the Easter egg. Personally, I don't mind doing a lot of stuff. Ever since I played Shadows of Evil, I knew that you had to build stuff to progress through the map. The shield, wonder weapons, or even Pack-a-Punch. Black Ops 4 added a lot of stuff. Stuff that might have been too complex, especially for the older players of the mode. The new perk system that only allowed 4 predetermined perks per game, the loadout and its overpowered specialists, the new HUD, the hit markers, ridiculous face paints, custom mutations, 2 separate menus and a whole new story and universe, while the old one was still not finished. So that was a lot, but maybe that wasn't the problem. Maybe it was because we all got older. There was this meme that I found a couple of months ago, sorry I don't remember the creator. But it was basically about that the glory days of the zombies community are over. We all have grown up, lots of friends don't play the game anymore, and other games did get the spotlight, and the community is only a fraction of what it once was. And somehow this stupid meme explains it perfectly, unfortunately. And a few of my friends stopped playing. My squad from back then is gone, and it's okay. We all move on in our lives, and video games no longer become a priority. So what remains? The fun memories, the friendships we made along the way, the nostalgia for one of the greatest game modes ever, all of that. It's sad to say, but Black Ops 4 was truly the last game for some of us. I do want to talk about the stories and maps. After all, they are the most important aspects of the game mode. So let's begin with the Chaos story. I tried to be open-minded, but I couldn't really get into it. They put a heavy focus on mythology and interesting settings, which was cool and all, but I feel like this Chaos story would have been better if it was in Black Ops 5. The developers really put a lot into the Chaos maps, but maybe too much. 4 different elemental zombies and heavy boss enemies, and of course mini-boss zombies like the Blightfather, were just too much. The Aether story, on the other hand, was always covered in mystery. The community made up theories and found secrets in the game that expanded the lore. To never fully know where the direction was going was great. But it also can't be denied that the Chaos story got way more budget than the Aether story. It introduced new maps and concepts, new boss types, and on top of that, Ancient Evil even got 4 cutscenes alone, whereas Aether only got cartoon-styled cutscenes for DLC 3 and 4. They were still great, don't get me wrong, but I would have preferred some cinematics, especially if you think about Black Ops 3, where we even got memory trailers between actual trailers and director's cut music videos. But I guess they had limited resources and they had to work on Black Ops 5. Now let's talk about the maps. 9 was a beginner-friendly, easy map. It had a great setting and it was a great way to introduce the Chaos story. The arena was a good place to train and the god monuments looked glorious. Pack-a-Punch was also easy to unlock. What I didn't like was the symmetrical layout of the map. It confused me to run downstairs to grab a shield only to find out that I was running in the wrong direction. I also didn't like the Scorpion Wonder Weapon. If you design a weapon, don't design it after an animal. It looked like we were playing with baby toys. The main quest was alright, the steps were well balanced and the boss fight was huge. I mean, who doesn't like to fight against 2 big elephants? Also, the final cutscene was pretty great. Voyage of Despair, the Titanic and the Black Sheep of Black Ops 4's launch maps. But was it really that bad? No, of course not. It was just way more difficult than the other maps. Tight corners, annoying boss zombies and a really hard Easter egg for solo players. I mean, main quest. I liked how big the ship was. Yes, it was again a bit confusing, but in a good way. A lot of layers and easy ways to teleport were a good addition. Pack-a-Punch was also alright and the map had 4 elemental wonder weapons. But it couldn't come close to the beginner-friendly 9 or the Nostalgia package, which brings us to the Aether maps. Blood of the Dead. This one was overhyped even before its release. Ever since Black Ops 3, the community wanted a Mob of the Dead remake. But did it deliver? Well, if we don't look at the new game mechanics that were designed for the Chaos story, like the perk system, elixirs instead of gobble-gums, or overpowered specialists, we can see a pretty solid map. Alcatraz, Purgatory, our 4 premise characters were trapped on this island and had no way to escape. The map was a remake of Mob of the Dead. The layout was huge, but not always in a good way. It did get tedious after a while to run from one side of the map to the other. Yes, it had fast travel locations, but still, Pack-a-Punch was especially annoying because there was no indication where it spawned after it disappeared, so you had to run. The wonder weapons were solid. They gave us 2 upgrades for the Blundergat, a classic upgrade and a new one. The map felt fresh, and the quest? Oh, it was perfect. Many players might think the quest was tedious, too difficult or bad, but I like it. Why? Well, because it was purgatory. It was supposed to be difficult. The quest is to escape hell. Of course, the characters and players should be pushed to their limits. Shock, denial, acceptance, the 7 stages of grief, or the steps of the main quest had to be taken literally this time to ascend from darkness. Classified, the bonus map. It was great, not gonna lie. I liked it the most from the launch maps, although I wish it had an actual quest and not this get to round 150 to see the cutscene Easter egg. But apart from that, it was a good remake of the map 5. Teleporting to Area 51 was just the perfect addition to connect some other maps. Seeing the Ultimus crew again was also pretty neat. All in all, it felt like a proper old school zombies map. The wonder weapon was also decent and the main focus was really the gameplay, not running around the map like in Blood of the Dead. Moving on to Dead of the Night, DLC 1. Vampires and werewolves, this map was pretty much a combination of Twilight and Clue. No, but for real, we got 4 celebrity characters and a big mansion as our setting. For what it is, I have to give it credit. It had a lot of stuff to do. There were a few quests to upgrade your wonder weapon and you could even get a crossbow or a steak knife. The red vampires were annoying, well, all vampires actually, but it was fun. However, Dead of the Night's biggest advantage was also its downfall. It was too complex, especially unlocking Pack-a-Punch or the silver bullets. You had to remember countless locations to craft all the things that you needed. It was impossible to play without watching a stupid guide on YouTube. If you need to watch a guide once, sure, that's fine, maybe even twice. But if you still need a guide after you play it for 20 times, that's a bad map design. It's not some kind of necessary map innovation to keep the game mode fresh, no. But the main quest was fine, I guess. The boss fight wasn't that impressive. I mean, the boss was just a bigger werewolf, but it was well balanced. Moving on to Ancient Evil, the biggest mythology influenced map to date. It was pretty much the ancient city of Delphi underground, protected by magic from the rest of the world. It had undead skeletons, big angry boss soldiers, and of course, Pegasus. Pretty impressive, right? The map also gave us 4 elemental gauntlets and an epic main quest. It had 4 cinematics, intro, outro, riding Pegasus and the boss fight sequence. It is by far the best Chaos map in my opinion. There is not a lot to complain about, but it's all preference. If you enjoy the magic and the over-the-top mythology influences, this map might be your favorite. But if you are like me and enjoy the science influenced perks and wonder weapons, I guess you're not that big of a fan of Ancient Evil. Like I said before, I try to be open-minded about both storylines and I have to give credit to the Chaos story. This map was well done. Alpha Omega, this map was definitely not a reference to my channel name, but it was the continuation of the Eva story, finally after waiting for over 7 or 8 months. The map was a Nuketown remake. A lot of people complained about that, but after all it was a new map. It had new areas, 4 elemental ray gun Mark II upgrades and a great main quest. The quest was really well balanced. It connected a few other storylines like the Avogadro or Peter McCain, and all in all, Treyarch delivered. If you can accept the fact that the writers wanted to go back to places where we already have been before, you might have a good time, especially if they gave us the Ultimus and Primus crew at once. This map contains so much lore and quotes, and they really tried to close the loose ends of the storyline with this map. But sure, not everything was great. The intro and outro both were in a comic book style. The only special enemies were reskins of previous enemies, and so you really could see the budget cut. And then came Tag der Toten, our last map for once and for all. Well, unless they come up with DLC 5 or something, which wouldn't make any sense story-wise at this point, but I'm drifting away. Tag der Toten and the return of the transit crew to complete one last mission for our main characters. The map was a remake of Call of the Dead and of course it had the same complaints like Alpha Omega. No in-game cutscenes or new enemies, although we did get a new wonder weapon. But the map, it felt like this was the last chapter. However, the way we got here didn't fit. It felt a bit rushed. Like the developers had to end the story and they had to end it on this map. I can see how they would have planned the other Victis maps in between, but still, a lot of stuff didn't make any sense anymore. Why did Nikolai need a soul? Where was Monty? If you look at the ending of Blood of the Dead, you can clearly see that Richthofen had something else in mind. He wanted to defeat Monty, and in Classified we hear about the Great War. I feel like we are missing some chapters, but the ending that we see still works perfectly. To sacrifice our crew, to break the cycle and to close off all the other dimensions was bittersweet. The Eva storyline. I will always remember it and the great memories I share with it. But nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Before I give you my conclusion, I also want to touch on the trophies and challenges in the game. From the perspective of a trophy hunter, of course. What can I say? I enjoy unlocking trophies and to complete 100% of a game. Black Ops 4 had some really annoying ones. The zombie trophies were fine. There were some creative ones and trophies for completing the main quests. But we also had some blackout trophies. And well, they were really difficult. Because of the battle royale aspect and the RNG aspect. Some trophies were really based on luck, which is bad. I mean, online mode trophies are already annoying, but Black Ops 4 put them on a whole new level. At least the DLC trophies only included zombies trophies, as always. And apart from one trophy from DLC 4, the trophies were all fun to unlock. Some more than others, of course, but in the end, trophies don't make or break a game. They are just a nice bonus. So let's talk about gauntlets, the 30 round based game mode for zombies. Great idea, but a bad execution. There were some good gauntlets, but the general majority of them had a lot of annoying challenges. See, if you create the concept of gauntlets, you should put gameplay as your priority, not Easter eggs. There's no reason to include one weapon quests into a gauntlet, especially if you need perfect precision to do that. Sometimes you were not allowed to waste any round, otherwise you failed. Challenges for gauntlets should be something like only stay in this area or only use this weapon. But I do think Treyarch did listen to the feedback. Well, yeah, I forgot about the Voyage of Despair hard mode gauntlet. Oh, I never talked about this one, right? Because there would only be negativity and I didn't want to rant about the game. To make it quick, the hard mode gauntlet is a bad concept. There is no demand for this whatsoever. It also doesn't help that you can't complete this gauntlet without using pay to win elixirs in some way, and I'm against this. More is not always better. And that could also be said about Black Ops 4 as a whole. Treyarch, they tried their best and they did make some great maps. Maybe they exaggerated a bit, but I'm glad they could try stuff out. I hope they saw what worked and what didn't. Still, I can only imagine how difficult it must be to be a developer in this team. The pressure from Activision, creative choices, the stupid rambling from zombies YouTubers. Listen, thanks to everyone who worked long hours to make this game. Your game did not suck, trust me. The good things outnumber the bad by a long shot. So what's left to talk about? Oh yeah, the zombies community. After a few years, I came to realize that, well, this community, it is toxic. Not you trophy hunting pro godlike players that are subscribed to my channel, but the toxic part, and maybe it's just the loudest, is part of the problem. On the one hand, we got the fanboys that justify every bad decision whatsoever, and on the other hand, we have the complainers that only add fuel to the fire. And at some point along this season, a leaker spoiled future maps like Dead of the Night and Nuketown, and he spoiled Easter egg steps. And this put the community in a really bad state. Honestly, I have lost all faith. There were issues, there was room for feedback, but there were a lot of good things as well. And somehow all that matters are the few toxic opinions of big obnoxious YouTubers that burned Black Ops 4's reputation to the ground. Which was sad to see, honestly. Now, to the 20 or 30 people that are still watching this video. Thanks. It means a lot. To be honest, I'm just a guy who plays video games like you. I'm not your favorite zombies YouTuber. I'm not the best or the fastest when it comes to guides, but I did my best. I took the time that I didn't have to make guides for maps that I couldn't really play that much. There was a lack of motivation and excitement for Black Ops 4, and I am sorry for that. But sometimes things that are more important than video games take priority. So is this the end for me and my channel? I don't know. The next Call of Duty doesn't have a zombies mode, but Modern Warfare looks pretty good to be honest. So maybe I make the switch to multiplayer, or Spec Ops, or I buy myself a new game, who knows. But wherever I go with my channel, you know, I'll be kicking ass. Thanks for watching.